Before we talk football, before I get to your Monday night complimentary play on the Chiefs and the Broncos, let me just backtrack a second and talk baseball. Listen, I get it. I understand the new wave of baseball is all about analytics. And I get why the Dodgers are as good as they are because they adhere to analytics. And I understand that they didn't win all those games and get to the World Series without analytics. But game two, analytics cost them. And last night, Dave Roberts followed analytics again. But you tell me, wouldn't they have been better, the Dodgers and Roberts, trying, at least giving Clayton Kershaw, who albeit had struggled, the opportunity to try to get that one single out, to get through 5 innings? Yes, he had blown the lead once. Yes, he was in danger of blowing it again. But the Dodgers bullpen hadn't shown you they had been able to get anybody out in this series, right? They had been pitching as poorly, other than the exception of game number 1, had been pitching as poorly as the Astros bullpen. So why not let Kershaw give it a shot? Instead, you go to the call to the bullpen. Boom, Astros tie up the game. That sets in motion to more failures by the Dodgers bullpen. Ultimately now, you see the Astros in a crazy game win it. And now, going to have Justin Verlander on the hill trying to wrap it up tomorrow night. Again, I get analytics, but why not let your so-called ace try to get one more out? And then who knows how the complexion of the game may change. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I understand, however, that, analytics rule baseball nowadays. Listen, look at the Phillies. They just hired a guy with practically no managerial experience because, again, he is one of those new wave guys that firmly believes everything is with analytics. Baseball is a changing sport now. Guys aren't hired to manage by their gut instincts. Guys aren't hired to do anything but follow the numbers. And that's why baseball managers are now hired on the cheap as well. You don't have to pay them big bucks because it's not what they can do, it's how well they can follow orders. Okay, let's talk about yesterday in football. Boy, there were a lot of losers yesterday in football. Now, some guys had good days here. Matt Rivers, props going out to him. Only his 12th ever blank check NFL release, and he's one of the charter members of the site as he scored with the Cowboys over the Redskins. Props going out to him. You got it for over half price off. And Eric Schrader, who has another big play tonight, I'll talk to you about in just a moment, hit his major 200-dime release, the second ever 200-dime NFL play. Easy winner, Buffalo. A 2-point favorite over Oakland, 34-14. Just as easy as his first one a couple of weeks back when he had the Houston Texans winning by 16 on the road as a 9-point chalk. And it was even easier than that because the Browns in that particular game got a couple of garbage scores late in the contest to make the score somewhat respectable, as respectable can be when you lose by 16 points at home. So props going out to him. Tough loss by Trace Adams last night. Another double wager release, losing with the Detroit Lions, who simply had to settle for field goals every single time they got to the red zone. 0 for 5 in the red zone because they had to keep settling for all those field goal tries. And then Joey Juice, who had the big 200-dime play yesterday, going for number 2 in a row. And he lost yesterday with the Atlanta Falcons. So a mixed bag of nuts yesterday. As for me, I lost again. Again, as I pointed out in yesterday's video, going into Wednesday, I had won 25 out of 40 days. I had a wonderful little 5.5-week run. Boom. I mean, since then, everything has gone wrong. Yesterday, a 5th straight losing day with the Bengals. Haven't done anything different. Not doing anything different. I think the black cloud is following me. I'm pretty sure I think it's raining right now on top of me. So I don't like this game tonight, and I'll tell you why in just a second. But the guys that have big plays tonight, well, that would be once again Eric Schrader, who has a 7th ever 100-dime NFL play of his career on Denver, Kansas City, twice as big as last Monday's 50-dime NFL winner, number 6 out of 7 on the Eagles, Redskins over, 2.5 times stronger than his 40-dime winner on the Jags, 27-0 over Indianapolis last Sunday, and $10 bettors up $5,845 in the NFL so far this season after yesterday's second straight 200-dime winner, as I said, on the Bills. And you get it for over half price off simply by using coupon code ERIC, his first name, all the other discounts, etc., over on the homepage. Now, I'm not a big fan of this game. And often what you will see handicappers do when it's a Monday night game, You will see this so many times, and I'm going to tell you why I think it's a foolish thing to do. You will see them come out with a Monday night teaser. Now, I love teasers. Guys like Shawn Michaels love teasers as well. We happen to win a hell of a lot of teasers between the two of us, probably more than any other handicapper at this site over the 15 years since I started these sites. But on Monday night, I think teasers are one of the dumbest strategy moves you can make because it's easy to come up with the side on a Monday night. It really is when you have a line such as tonight, when you're looking at 7 points. Because again, I think teasers are meant to be played when you're looking at a line between 3 and 10 points. It's pretty easy. Take a favorite down to around a field goal, take an underdog, add those points when you're looking at a two-team 6-point teaser. I think teasers are pretty easy to find the side. The problem is guys ultimately make the mistake because then they look at the total, and with rare exception, do you find gamblers that really understand totals, really focus on the total. They think, oh, it's one game, I'll take a shot with the total. And true, you got a 50-50 chance. But how many of you out there really focus on totals? I do, because it's what I do 365 days a year. And even I can tell you on Monday nights, sometimes the totals are just as hard to win as the side. And that's what makes Monday night teasers, I think, just a shot in the dark. And my philosophy is, if you're looking at a game like tonight where you're not too sure, go someplace else. And that's why I headed off into the NBA, where I think personally the best bet tonight is on the Warriors and the Clippers, because this damn game, it's fairly priced at 7, but it's a damn tough game. So let's break it down. Now, of course, the last time we saw the Chiefs, they're coming off that 31-30 debacle at Oakland 2 Thursdays ago, a game in which the Raiders scored the final 10 points in the contest. And that was after they watched their 5-0 start go down in flames when they simply couldn't stop Le'Veon Bell and the Steelers for the third time in a year and a half, losing an Arrowhead. Now, they did a much better job against the Raiders stopping the run, because remember, Le'Veon Bell just was running. I think he just gained another 10 yards on that Chiefs defense just a minute ago. Now, they held the Raiders to 88 yards. Problem is, they couldn't stop Derek Carr, who threw for 417 yards in the contest. Therein lies the problem. They have all types of defensive issues. And a lot of people are pointing the finger at their defensive coordinator, Bob Sutton. I think his name is Bob Sutton. Just trying to remember. Yeah, I think it's Bob Sutton. But it's not all his fault. Did he make a bonehead play in terms of strategy last week, having 5'11", Eric Murray, his safety, left alone for much of that game, covering 6'5", Jared Cook, the tight end for the Raiders, who ultimately cost him with the game-winning catch? Yeah, 5'11" on 6'5", that was a dumb move. But the bigger problem is that their best pass rusher and their most dynamic defensive player, the linebacker Justin Houston, just can't stay healthy. He's been bothered by a knee and a calf injury. He's an elite pass rusher. He has 0 sacks, not even a quarterback hurry in the past 2 games. They said that he didn't practice on Saturday. Andy Reid said he was just giving him a blow, getting him ready for this game. Listen, he goes, and that's how the Chiefs' defense goes. And if he's not healthy, that's a problem, because no pass rush, and you see what happens. The other problem is that Derek Johnson is not the dynamic player he was a couple of years ago. Another linebacker, his play has definitely slipped. And the biggest glaring problem with the Chiefs defense is that once they lost Eric Berry, that secondary just isn't the same. And that's why Derek Carr absolutely shredded him. 170 of Derek Carr's 410 yards came last week, and the Raiders loss, 2 Thursdays ago, came after the catch. Poor tackling. The Raiders missed 10 tackles the Chiefs missed 10 tackles in that Raiders game. That's nearly 1/4 of the tackles they've missed in 6 games this season. Shoddy tackling. Now, there's no excuse for blowing it when it comes to fundamentals. Now, let's talk about the Broncos. This is a team that scored a total of 10 points in the last 2 games. This is a team whose offensive line was lousy last year and rebuilt. Still hasn't afforded anybody playing quarterback much protection. Trevor Siemian, who's really struggled here of late, was sacked 5 times in the loss to the Chargers last week. The offensive line has given up 22 sacks on the season. The defense is still good, and the defense is going to come charging hard and trying to put the pressure on Alex Smith. But Alex Smith, as you've seen, has great skills at eluding the pass rush. So, again, I think this is a real difficult game because it comes down to this. Will the Chiefs be able to put any pressure on Trevor Siemian tonight? Will the Broncos, who have a strong ground game that has been absolutely unproductive the last 3 games because of the offensive line problems, and also because of their play calling, they're not giving Chris Anderson and Jamal Charles many carries, and God knows why. Will they be able to find holes in a Kansas City defense that is definitely susceptible? Will the Chiefs be able to get the offense going and give Alex Smith sufficient protection, which they weren't able to do really against the Pittsburgh Steelers a couple weeks back in their last home game because the Steelers really put the pressure on Smith nonstop? Will they resemble that high-flying Chiefs offense that was leading the league in scoring going into the Pittsburgh game? Again, this number is 7. At 4, I love Kansas City. At 7, I'd say, wow, Denver seems like an easy underdog play. But then you go back. This is a Broncos team, again, that has been unable to reach the scoreboard at all with any consistency. This is a Broncos team that's 0-2 on the road. Remember, 26-16, they lost to Buffalo earlier this season. 21-0, they lost to the Chargers last game. 23-10, they lost at home to the 0-5 Giants. How can you bank on the Broncos? That's why I'm going to have to lay the points with Kansas City, and that's going to be your complimentary play for tonight's card. And that's why I think the NBA is the best place to go tonight for your best bet on the Monday card. That'll do it, guys. Talk to you again tomorrow when we do this again.